Alright, everybody, hello and welcome to the 136th episode of Movie and TV Talk. On this episode, I'm going to be discussing and giving my thoughts on the Twisted Metal TV show. Let's get into it. First and foremost, let me give a brief condensed plot of the series. The main character is this person named John Doe. He is a milkman, a person that delivers stuff to the walled cities. John makes a stop at New San Francisco. They let him in, which never happens. This person in charge makes him an offer that if he can turn with a very specific package, he can live in New San Fran. You also have Sweet Tooth, who runs Las Vegas, who eventually comes to the aid of both our protagonists. You have Agent Stone, aka The Law, our secondary protagonist, nicknamed Quiet. She had a run-in with Stone, which ended up with her brother having to kill himself. That's Quiet's motivation for even going with John in the first place, because she wants to kill Agent Stone and get revenge for her brother. Obviously, Stone is going after John, Quiet, and Sweet Tooth because they're breaking the law. But in the end, in the big finale, Quiet gives Stone the same choice he gave her brother, and Stone ends up killing himself. John ends up delivering the package and getting to live in New San Francisco, and that's pretty much the very simplified form of the story. So what did I think of the Twisted Metal TV show? In the current wide array of video games being adapted into movies and TV shows, this is definitely one of the good ones, at least to me. I've honestly never played any of the games, and have very little to no understanding really of the universe and characters, but I think the show does a very good job of introducing people to the universe and giving a very good foundation of who a lot of these characters are. That's something I really appreciate with this show, that it spends time to develop the characters and really makes you care about them. When you meet John, you don't know anything about him besides being a milkman. Eventually, we learn that he doesn't know who his parents are, or really anything, before he woke up in a car with blood on his head. There's one episode especially where we learn why he's so attached to his car but ends up losing the car in the episode, and it's very sad. Quiet's whole thing is wanting revenge on Stone, so she ends up tagging along with John, and eventually, through their partnership, they learn to not only get along with each other, but even form something more than a friendship. She does get to end Stone in one way, so she accomplishes her goal while helping John with his. Sweet Tooth is by far my favorite character. That is probably what every Twisted Metal fan is going to definitely be shocked by. Every time he's on screen, it just made me laugh so much. It's a hard thing to sit here and describe just how great they did with Sweet Tooth's character. I especially loved that they picked Will Arnett to voice him, as there's something very interesting about his voice saying all these horrible, brutal things that the character does. Stone is an interesting character too. Through flashbacks, we see his old life. He was a police officer that was never respected by anyone, even having neighbors turn on him with all the apocalyptic stuff going down. We get to see the notorious event where he killed a child, but of course his current fellow officers of the law say he single-handedly took down terrorists. The truth is that while Stone may act like a stoic badass, he's really weak inside, and probably just as scared as anyone else is. He never really gets the guts to kill people, either makes them do it themselves or his other officers do it, but never himself. Again, really hard to describe how well done these characters are in the show without seeing it for yourself. As I would expect for a show like this, all of the action sequences are very well done, whether it's one involving cars or ones that don't. The show has some really great humor too. It's definitely a very violent and bloody show. Never too much, like it could be in like Deadpool, but just the right amount. All of the vehicles are great. I have no idea how accurate they are to the game vehicles, but I think they did very well here. Overall, I think this show is well worth the watch, even if you know nothing about Twisted Metal. I'm very much looking forward to the second season of the show in like 3 months or so. They ended on such a cliffhanger, and I'm dying to see what happens next. Twisted Metal is a good and enjoyable show. That's going to do it for this episode, so if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.